Teaching for development of cognition. The dictionary meaning of cognition is the art of knowing. Usually, it is concerned with knowing, understanding, processing, and using information, and these are considered as mental abilities or components of intelligence. Cognitive development refers to the stages and processes involved in child's intellectual development. There are several theories of development of cognition. Among all the theories, Piaget's theory provides a comprehensive picture of cognitive development from birth to the age of 14 or 15, when cognitive development attains the peak. Piaget conceives of cognitive development as consisting of a series of stages, each characterized by certain kinds of behavior and certain ways of thinking and solving problems. All the age specific stages have been grouped under 4 broad stages. Number 1 is sensory motor, that is from 0 to 2 years of age. Number 2 is pre-operational, age group 2 to 7 years. Number 3, concrete operational, ages 7 to 11 or 12 years. And number 4, formal operational, that is age 11 or 12 to 14 or 15 years. The description of the characteristics of the child's behavior at each stage can be valuable in helping you as a teacher to understand your students' level of cognition. Knowing the cognitive status is important, as any form of learning is greatly influenced by the way a student thinks, reasons, and processes information. Some major characteristics at the 4 stages of cognitive development are provided in this table. As you can see, the first stage, sensory motor, some major characteristics in this stage is intelligence related motor activities concerned with present and nearby incidents and objects, no language and no thought, no idea of objective reality. This stage mostly occurs from birth to 2 years. And then the next stage is pre-operational. That is also divided in 2 stages, pre-conceptual and intuitive. So this stage is from 2 to 7 years. In this stage, some major characteristics are egocentric thought, reason dominated by perception, intuitive rather than logical solutions, inability to conserve. Third stage is concrete operations. The major characteristics in this stage are ability to conserve, logic of class and relations, understanding of numbers, thinking bound to concrete objects and experiences, development of reversibility
in thought. So basically, what is the ability to conserve or inability to conserve? Let's discuss.
Conservation is the realization that quantity or amount does not change when nothing has been added to or taken away from an object or collection of objects, despite changes in form or arrangement in space. For example, to test the conservation of number, expose the children to 2 collections of objects. See, I have put 1, 2, 3, 4 clips on one side, the other side also 1, 2, 3, 4 clips, or for that matter anything, you can put beads or whatever. One side they are in this position and the other side in this position, but a child who is in the pre-operation stage will say that the collection B has more objects because they have not yet developed the ability of conservation of numbers.
A child who is in the pre-operational stage may think that the right side has more balls than the left side. But similarly, when he is in the concrete operational stage, he will develop the ability to conserve.
Similar conservation tasks in area, volume, and mass have revealed that it is during the concrete operation stage children develop this ability. Piaget's theory tells us that the child is born with a mental or cognitive structure which develops and attains maximum growth around the age 14 or 15 years. The major trends of the cognitive development during the four stages are as follows. During the first 2 years of life, the child performs activities mostly driven by sense organs and some motor activities. For an infant at this stage, objects exist when they can be seen, heard, touched, tasted, or smelt, and when they are removed from the infant's immediate sensory experience, they cease to exist. Towards the end of this sensory motor period, the child can identify the objects around him, her, and can imitate several actions of others. And at a later stage, the child can imitate the actions in absence of the actions or objects, called deferred imitation. This indicates that the child can observe the action minutely, internalize the actions, and reproduce it, signifying the early form of intentional action. Intentional actions are also part of intelligent activity. Piaget defines operations as mental activities subject to certain rules of logic. According to him, operations in true form do not appear before 7 years of age. But with the development of language ability, the child tries to reason out in a crude way during the pre-operation period. These reasoning are mostly pre-logical, egocentric, everything moving around the self, and intuitive, mostly driven by emotion and passion. The intelligence as is commonly understood begins to appear towards the end of the pre-operational stage around age of 6 or 7 years. Incidentally, this is the beginning of schooling. It is during the concrete operation period, that is from 7 to 11 or 12 years of age. Children make a fundamentally important transition from a pre-logical form of thought to logical thinking that apply to real concrete objects and events. Three important mental abilities develop during this period with manipulation of concrete objects and events. They are conservation, classification, and seriation. Conservation is the realization that quantity or amount does not change when nothing has been added to collection of objects despite changes in form or arrangement in space. For example, to test the conservation of number, expose the children to two collections of marbles, beads, as shown below. If these two arrangements of marbles are shown to children in pre-operation stage, almost all would say that the collection B has more marbles because they have not yet developed the ability of conservation of numbers. Similar conservation tasks in area, volume, and mass have revealed that it is during the concrete operation stage children develop this ability. Classification is to group objects according to their similarities and differences. Classification involves comparing and contrasting the objects on different characteristics like size, shape, color, weight, use, material, etc. A child in pre-operation stage is not capable of classifying objects and cannot compare more than two objects at a time. Seriation is the ability to arrange similar objects in a definite order, increasing or decreasing. Besides these three, the ability to deal with numbers, a direct product of classification and seriation, develops during the stage of concrete operations. The stage of formal operation is the first stage of cognitive development. It is formal because the subject matters with which children can now deal are mostly imaginary or hypothetical, abstract and free from concrete objects and events. The thinking process at this stage involves propositional reasoning following the if then logic, like if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then what is the relation between A and C? Such problems involving abstract and propositional logic cannot be solved by children in concrete operation stage.